There are over 13 million single parents in the United States who are raising more than 20 million children.
And when all the responsibility is placed onto one parent, it's extremely important to balance finances to secure the children's future. Lindsay John is here this morning from Debt Free America to talk about this issue. Good morning to you. When you hear those numbers, it's pretty stunning how many people are doing this all on their own.
It is, but you have to also understand that even as a single parent, make sure that your finances are your top priority. And if you do have questions or concerns and you're not too sure exactly what to do, there are professionals and certified counselors such as those at Debt Free America that can help you out.
Besides not having a double income, what are some of the other unique challenges that happen when you're a single parent?
Well, as a single parent, you have the added responsibility of managing a household, a family, raising children, and a job. So with all those responsibilities combined, there are steps that you can take to make sure that your finances are one of your top priorities.
And you have some tips for us this morning. We'll get that information on the screen. And you say, first of all, you've got to develop that budget and stick with it.
You do have to budget. You have to make sure you need to know exactly where the money from your income is going, where can you save, where can you cut back. One way that you can figure this out is to examine your spending habits for about 2 to 3 months. Then you can create a budget according to the average amount that's spent for each category. Also, set your priorities and your goals. It's important to set your priorities in order to make sure you don't have any overwhelming financial issues. Set small goals, short-term goals, mid-term goals, and long-term goals.
I can imagine when you're tracking what you're spending, you might be surprised where your money is going.
Exactly. It's very important to be as organized as possible when you're writing your budgeting and your spending habits down, whether it's on whether it's on the computer, in a worksheet, a spreadsheet, or in a notebook. But be organized and make sure that when you do put your goals towards your budget, that you be as realistic as possible and make sure you distinguish between the absolute necessities and your wants.
We have some of the other tips there, having an emergency plan, setting up an estate plan. Number 7, be open and honest with your children. What are you getting at there?
Basically, your children, they should know exactly the importance between spending and saving. And a lot of schools nowadays, they don't offer personal financial skills or classes, so education starts at home. At debtfreeamerica.com, we have an education tab that you can click on and find out a lot of educational tools and pamphlets and booklets for both parents and for children. So even if you do have some questions regards to budgeting, talk to somebody who's a professional to help you out with your financial issues.
And Lindsay, you mentioned on their education, and you added up to the list, make sure you save for college.
Yes.
How important is that for kids? Even in tough times, I mean, it's so hard to put money away when you're struggling to make it every day.
It is, but you know what? If you start saving little by little, it adds up towards the end, especially with compound interest. It's also important that if you take your money and deposit it into a Section 529 college savings plan or a 401k, especially if your employer provides a matching contribution, that's also important to look at.
Sure is. Some great tips for us. Are you finding there are more single people in San Diego? Do we have a larger number of single people in this part of the country than, say, other areas?
I'm not too sure about the percentage, especially in San Diego, but regardless, if you are a single parent, just make sure that your finances are up to par, that you do have your insurance, by chance if there's an emergency, that you have that amount set for your child's financial future.
If you had a bottom line word for single parents, what would it be?
Save and budget.
Save and budgets. That's good advice for everybody, I think. Lindsay John, thanks so much for joining us today from Debt Free America. We'll be sure and have all of your tips on the website.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.